Hey friends, I'm Heidi, creator of Heavenly Minded Home and all of our ministry that we put out here through YouTube. And today I'm going to share with you my 5 top tips to get started and successful here on YouTube as a family vlogger, homeschool vlogger, anything in that kind of area. And be sure you watch till the end because I'm going to share with you exactly what we make on YouTube, how many views we get, all of those great details. So come on, let's sit down and chat about YouTube land. That we have videos that come out every single day. Yes, every day. And all this week we're talking about vlogging. So I shared a video, kind of just me reacting to our very first vlog. You guys can catch that right up here. I shared with you, why we even started vlogging in the first place. Yet again, you can catch that up there. And I talked about a very detailed, it's like an hour long. If you want to get started doing this, right? Maybe you want to do a family vlog, a homestead vlog, just homeschool stuff, whatever. And you're like, how on earth do I even start doing this? Like, I've thought about it, but I don't know. If you want all of those details, right again, up there, you guys can get that. Or of course, just subscribe and tap that little bell notification. And then every day when these really awesome videos come out, you will just automatically be notified. You can do that too. But let's go ahead and talk about now my 5 tips for YouTube success, okay? And then I'll share this with you guys and then I'll go ahead and pull up my computer so you guys can see my analytics. You guys can see exactly how much money we're making, how many views we're getting, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about, some of the things we implemented to start seeing those results, okay? So first, let's talk about these tips. And I think it's really important that you need to, before we even get into the 5 tips, you need to define what success means to you. What is that? Is it the amount of money you're making, the amount of views you're getting, the amount of subscribers you're getting, the amount of reshare, whatever, right? You got to figure out like what success means to you, because especially with YouTube, depending on what you're going for, or even just starting some sort of like online, ministry, online business, whatever it is you're doing, you've got to figure out what those measurable moments are to feel like success to you, because it doesn't look the same for everyone. For us here, what we do, everything with Heavenly Minded Home, is a ministry. We feel very called to encourage others, right? We feel very called to provide resources to help families disciple and dig in deeper and to walk in God's ways and to live as citizens of heaven, as scripture so calls us to. So for us, that's the goal, that's the mission. And so then we go, okay, so then what does success look like? Well, then we start to measure. Are people watching our videos? Are they subscribing to our content? Are doing those 2 steps helping them to then grow in their relationship with the Lord, disciple their children, have a homeschool that is enjoyable for everyone, to be in the Word and to be growing in their faith? Like, we have all those kind of components that we go through on our own as we think about this and go, okay, are we being successful? For us, our measure of success isn't the amount of money we make. It never has been, because we've been living by faith for the past 5 years. And I promise you, we're not rolling in the dough, okay? I don't got 2 pennies to rub together, but that's not our measure of success. Sure, it's awesome when you see some money from your hard work, you see it do something, that's fantastic. That's super exciting. But for us, that's not our measuring stick of what is success. So you have to define that for yourself and what you're doing before you can kind of go into then applying and measuring it. You've got to know what you're up against. So make sure you think about that. Let's talk about these tips. So tip number 1, if you're wanting to start a YouTube channel, whether you're, doing homeschool or just family stuff, homesteading, whatever it is that you're doing, the first tip I want to give you, because I know it can be easy to be watching other people and seeing what other people are doing or what you think it should look like. And so you're trying to fit that mold. Don't. Be real, be authentic. There are a million people out there that are super rich and super fancy or super off-grid or super whatever it is that they're going for. And that's fantastic. If that's who they are, then that's great. But we don't need to start a channel to try to be what someone else is or what we think someone wants or or whatever it is. And it can be difficult. I know over the past 5 years, we've learned that where it's like, oh my gosh, like, do we need to fit? Like, that's what people are expecting. So that's what I have to be. But then it causes all these issues because it's not what we are and it's not what I want to do. And, we have natural just kind of changes in seasons and things like that. And then that's fine. But remembering to be real and be authentic, if that's why you're here, like, let's be that. We've got enough people with all of the, whatever, that's great. If you're going to be here and you're going to do something, stay true to who you are. Be authentic in what you're doing. Stand out on your own. You're not going to succeed in any measure of it if you're just trying to do what everybody else is doing. People will come to your channel and they'll watch you because they're coming to watch you. They're coming to watch what you have to offer. All of us have our gifts and our talents and our wisdoms and our encouragement, all of the things we do. God perfectly gives us exactly what he wants us to have. That's what you have to share. That's what you have to offer. Remember that as you're working through these steps, as you're putting out stuff and you're creating a channel, you're growing a channel, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. If you feel called to step into this and to be doing this, then be authentic about it. Be real. Be you. That's my first tip. My second tip is a little more technical when it comes to this, and I know we touched on it a little bit in yesterday's video, but practical tips to succeed. If you want the algorithm is a whole beast that you have to, you'll figure out as you work on it, and it's always changing. So there's always little pieces to it. You're never going to know it all. But if you want to be even trying to hit the metrics that you need to, so that way you can be getting your videos out there and people can be seeing them and you can, grow, be it subscriber count, view count, anything, be able to monetize. You've got to set some form of schedule for yourself. Disciplining yourself. YouTube, like, posting videos is hard. Like, anything that I have going on in my life that's going to, interrupt, especially us, we post every single day. Like, I have to plan ahead. I have to prepare. Like, it is a lot of work. I think a lot of people think like, oh, I'll just do this. It'll be so fun. It'll be so easy. It's a job. Like, it is a full-time job to post to YouTube. Like, I think content creators get a lot of, flack because it's like, oh, you just, film stuff and you get all these, perks and money and whatever. And it's like, it's a lot of work, okay, for people to consume stuff for free. Like, you get to watch everything for free. Everybody wants something for free. There's a lot of work that goes into that most of your work, most content creators are going largely underpaid for the amount of hours they're putting into creating the stuff that people consume. So setting a schedule to not only film your stuff, but then you have to edit it, then you have to upload it, then you have to, go through all the steps, all of the little kind of detailed behind the scenes things with your tags, your descriptions, with your cards, adding the little cards that pop up here, adding your end screen, chaptering your stuff down below so people can easily go through it and it can be searchable on Google. Like, all of those little things are great things to be doing, right? Market research, what kind of tags you're putting in, being able to card things up and end screen them. Luckily, I have an amazing friend who is the best in the whole wide world, and she helps me out because my workload was getting so crazy with this stuff that there were a lot of things I wasn't utilizing because I literally could not fit it into this schedule. I don't have time to sit here and rewatch my video and mark down all the things and do, like, I couldn't fit it in. She was like, hey, I can learn to do that. I'll help you out. Godsend, seriously, thank you. And now we're seeing, we're seeing more exposure. We're seeing better this, we're seeing those improvements, which is great to utilize the tools YouTube has there for you. But you've got to look at your schedule and being able to fit all these things in. And for me, being present with my family took priority. So there was a lot of things here with YouTube that just didn't make the cut. Until I could get help, they just didn't happen. Now it's great. They do happen because I was able to get help. But sitting down and setting a schedule to do all of this, it's really important, because if you don't have that priority and you have to balance your priorities, right? You're trying to do all of that. It can be really difficult to start to get any forward momentum on YouTube when you're posting, you know, a few times every few months and then you go silent for a while, like the algorithm isn't going to reward all of that just being sporadic. You're not going to be seeing a ton of views coming in, you know, kind of everything gets wonky. And not saying that you have to post every day, absolutely not. It's a grueling schedule, but setting some sort of schedule, even if it's, hey, I'm going to post once a week. Well, if you say I'm going to post once a week, you have to kind of work backwards and be like, okay, when am I going to film? When am I going to edit? I got to have time for processing and uploading, and depending on your computer and your internet speeds. I mean, some videos can take hours. When I do the Hymns of the Homemaker, like background music videos, those things, I mean, I've had some take 12 hours to upload. It's crazy. So you really have to stop and think about that. And I'm a pretty fly by the seat of my pants type person, but I still have to have some form of schedule just to practically make this stuff go from an idea in my head to a video I'm recording to a finished product that you're actually seeing. You're gonna have to think about stuff like that. That would be tip number 2 there, figuring out that schedule and setting that up for yourself. I know I'm saying a lot of things here, and I feel like this one might, you know, like kind of contradict what I just said, but hear me out. My 3rd tip would be keep it simple. You got to figure out schedule. You got to figure out tags. You got to figure out a lot of these things, whether you're, you know, and then if you're promoting on social media as well and whatever, like there's a lot of pieces, but keep it simple. You can research a lot of things, learn a lot of things, that's great. But if you're trying to hit every single note on all the different things, you're going to get overwhelmed. It's going to get crazy. And most likely you're gonna burn out. That's why there's a bajillion channels out there. Holy cow, like there's no shortage of channels on YouTube. And a lot of them, if you go back and you look at the channel homepage, you'll see that they don't post anymore, right? Maybe it was a thing going for a while and now it's done. They're not, because there's a lot of burnout. It is really difficult to keep up with this. So you've got to pause and think about it and really simplify. I think simplifying is a great way. I mean, I know there's plenty of things that I've started and put out there and then they just went dead because I couldn't keep up with all this stuff. I had to simplify. And there's things that I'm really passionate about that even though I might have had a break, like I think of my curriculum that I'm putting out, our life fell apart. And so I've been able to keep certain things going. Other things have had to kind of hit pause and now I'm catching back up. But there's also things that I've started. We had a magazine. I love doing the magazine. It took so much of my time. I couldn't keep up with it. One day I would love to have it come back, but I couldn't do it. Simplify the things that you're doing and what you're putting out. I know for me, I film for easy edits. I talked about that in yesterday's video that you guys can get up there, but I don't want to spend a ton of time editing. I edit very quickly, and then I don't go back to it. Once I edit and it's up, I never look at it again. That's why it's kind of fun now doing these reaction videos because I've literally never looked at these things again. I record so that way things are recorded in the order that I want them to be in the final edit. Maybe I move around a couple things, but I pretty much keep them all in order. For these, when I film these, in between each of the points, I stop the camera and start it again because then it makes it a lot easier where I know I want like a transition or I want to put some text. It makes it really easy for me to see exactly where I need to go. I don't have to rewatch the entire thing of footage. I know where my breaks are because I manually make them in the camera to make it really easy to transition in the edit. I try to do different things to make that a simplified process. If I take a shot, some B-roll or something, and it doesn't come out good, I just go ahead and delete it right then and there. So that way I'm not having to resort through it when I get to it. If I B-roll something and I look at it and I go, okay, that's junk. I don't want that. I'm just gonna get rid of it now. So I'm not having to like pay attention during my editing process of like, oh, I know I had some junk shots. Where are they? I want to make sure I get rid of them. I try to do things like that to make it simple. I don't add a ton of pizzazz. Like you don't see sound effects and you don't see a lot of things in here. You'll see a little bit here, a little bit there. Sometimes with points, I'll go ahead and add text. Sometimes I don't. When you see no text and no nothing, it's usually because I don't have the time. I got something to do with my husband and my children. I have somewhere else to prioritize my time and I'm not gonna sit here and junk it all up. My edits are not the best, right? I don't have the most cinegraphic photos, or no, actually I'm gonna leave that in here. when I goof up and I say something that I don't want to say or I get it wrong, I stop the camera and I restart it. So again, right there, it's easy to see what's at the beginning and the end of a clip. It's another thing if you have to watch the whole clip and try to remember where you goofed up or misspoke or try to cut something out. I do stuff like that to keep it simple. So I know when I'm recording, I normally go, ooh, that's where I said something dumb. Take that out, start with the next one. I'm gonna leave it in here for educational purposes. But I was saying, my shots are not the most cinematic, amazing. Like, I learn and I try to do better, but I'm gonna keep it simple. So you're not gonna see 8 million pounds of that stuff in my video because that's a lot. And I'm here to share real life and transparency, and I don't have time for all of that, at least not in this season anyways. So third tip there, keep it simple. I'm gonna cut this and go to my next transition. Ready? Let's go. See, simplicity now. I know exactly where I want it. I didn't have to like go through and split it and put my transition. I just did it right then and there because one clip ended and another clip began. That's how I do it. Fourth tip, goodness, is continuing education. Keep learning, okay? You've got to get started. If you want to do this and you're like, I don't know, will I be successful? Will we be able to do this? Will everybody just think I'm a weirdo or whatever it is that you're worried about? You got to just get started at some point. I'm so thankful that I started all those years ago, okay? I also go back and watch old videos and I go, oh my gosh, why do people watch this? The footage is awful. The camera is shaky. It's not very clear, right? I can sit there and pick it apart all day long. The sound sometimes is wonky, all these different things. But the point is I continued to learn. You got to make that jump at some point. You got to get started if there's something you want to do, okay? Nothing's going to come if you don't ever get started. But I didn't just stop there. I continued to learn. I learned about, I knew I didn't have money to buy, still don't have money to buy a fancy, camera. I use my cell phone. But I would research best cell phones for vlogging, best cell phones for video footage. I'd look those things up. Everybody always said iPhone. I could never afford an iPhone. Are you crazy? So then I would go, okay, so if I can't get that, what would the next best be? We go through Cricket Wireless, love Cricket Wireless, BT dubs. We would go to them. So I'd go up if it was time to get a new phone or whatever, I'd go look, of my price point, I've got $100 to spend. What phone can I get? What one has the best camera or the best video footage? I would research, and do that. I would then take my stuff. I watch videos. I still do this. I watch videos, how to get better, B-roll, how to get smoother, whatever, how to do whatever. I'm constantly researching different things and then just watching. Then I have to take it from watching and learning to applying and trying it out. So there'll be some days where we're out walking and it's just me practicing B-roll shots and doing different things to learn how to get smoother movement and, better swipes and, different things like that. So if you want to continue to succeed and grow in this, you've got to keep learning, watching other people and seeing what they're doing. When I watch YouTube videos, I'm not watching for just like, oh, what are they doing? I'm watching for, what do their thumbnails look like? How do they do their transitions? How do they pace their video? Is there something happening all the time or is it a little bit slower? Do I hear music? Do I not hear music? I kind of watch things in a different way. I watch it to go, what are they doing that I can learn from? Not that I want to just copy everything someone else is doing. Refer back to tip number 1, be real and authentic. But what are they doing that is appealing, right? This is nice to watch. It's easy on my ears, easy on my eyes. I'm able to follow along. The sound is good. It's smooth and it fits. I love Indigo Traveler. He is fantastic, and his pacing and his cuts and all his stuff, like he's really, really awesome with that. I kind of apply some things I've learned from him, but you're never going to see my videos, I don't think, look like that because that's a lot of editing and a lot of stuff. And for me, it just in the season isn't where I want to focus myself, but I still can watch and learn and go, how is he doing this? What do I like? I actually really like that lo-fi type music. I find myself now, like I never knew that's what it was called, but I really liked it. And I'm like, I can apply some of this. So anyways, kind of continuing your education in this is of course going to help aid in your being more successful in what you're trying to do here on YouTube. And then the fifth and final tip for YouTube success, and again, defining what success means to you, if you want to get doing this, okay? You want to start a family channel, you want to start doing homeschool vlogs, cooking stuff, home study stuff, whatever it is that you're trying to do, you've got to just get started filming. You're never going to get better. You're never going to grow. You're never going to do anything if you don't start putting stuff out. I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many things that I've covered that I'm like, oh, I don't need to talk about that anymore. I've talked about it so much. People are probably sick of hearing it. Well, the difference is I did those videos a long time ago. I have so many new and different viewers now that have no idea that stuff exists because we've put out like thousands of videos. It's crazy between podcasts and everything we've done. We've put out a ton of stuff. I've removed some since just because we were kind of like revamping things, but there's a lot out there. If I never just got started putting stuff out, the first challenge that I really did was that Homeschool 180, where we vlogged Homeschool 100. What was it called? Something like that. Homeschool 100 is the first 100 days of school. See, I don't even remember what I did. Challenging myself to put out 100 videos of our school days. Like, I had to work on being real and authentic because I didn't have time to fake it. I had to work on a schedule because I had to get all these things out. Like, I had to work on all of these steps to get to that. But being able to do that and just like get that footage out, I started learning, right? That really prompted me to learn and to start applying this, because it's one thing to sit here and, do the first steps where you're kind of thinking about it and you're watching other people and watching things. But if you don't start putting that into practice and working on that, you're never going to see those improvements. So you've got to just start filming. Just start putting stuff together and putting it out there. Sure, I've heard Mr. Beast talk about this, and he's like, your first 100 videos, like, nobody's going to care about, nobody's going to watch. But if you don't start putting the stuff out there and working on it, playing with things like the cards and end screens and chaptering and tags, right? The cool like metrics that YouTube gives you. If you don't start playing with, different intros and music and things like that, kind of figuring out where your sweet spot is, you're never going to know. You got to start playing with it. You've got to start filming. You've got to start putting stuff out there. And, really, you can talk about it, think about it, plan about it all the time. But if you don't start doing it, nothing's ever going to happen. So the worst that can happen is you put it out there and nobody watches it, right? That would be the worst thing, right? It goes nowhere. Okay, well, you still tried. You still did it. And if the Lord has a way that he wants to bless this and grow this and use this in your life, it's going to happen, right? You having to use a old cell phone with poor footage, to get it, your message is going to get through if that's what the Lord has intended for your life. You could have the fanciest computer and hire editors and do all of that. And if that's not God's will for your life, it's going to go nowhere. So just remember that when you're doing it. If you have something that you feel that you need to share, and it can be an encouragement, a help to others, kind of blessing in your life, then get to it. Get doing it. So that's my 5th tip right there. All right, so now let's go ahead and look quite literally at my analytics and what I have going on here to see how much money we're making, how many views we're getting, like how successful are we, okay? Let's look at that. All right, so here is my channel dashboard, and you can see that 2 weeks ago I hit 100,000 hours of watch time, which is kind of crazy. We're currently up to 5,391 subscribers at this point. Of course, that changes all the time. I am kind of excited here because if you see, I've had 170 new subscribers in the past 28 days. I used to sit right under 100 with that, but I'm now over the 100 threshold, kind of looking at that. So that's exciting. We're really hoping to grow our subscriber count. So it's kind of cool to see that, see that working. In the past 28 days, we've had 20,000 views, which is over. We were sitting around that 11.8 to 15.2, and that has gone up. I mean, that's almost doubled, so that's really exciting to see. Again, little things that we've been implementing, they're obviously working. I can look at my watch time and see that I have had 7.8 thousand hours of watch time in the past 28 days. I used to sit around 2.7 to 4.4. So that's huge. That's like, oh my gosh, look at that. That's so exciting. And then if you see here at my revenue, I am estimated so far to make $360.30 this month. So YouTube pays out once a month once you monetize. I used to I used to make about $100 every 3 months because you have to make so much in order for them to pay you out. So it used to be about $100 every 3 months. Most of this, I will tell you, is from having our collective. Usually every month we make somewhere between $350 and $400. And usually about half of that comes from our collective. That's my study. That's our membership area where the studies, the really deep, like the really important stuff, that's where we have all of that over there. You guys have to come join us. It's so much fun. Literally for $5 a month, for a donation of either $5, $10, or $20 a month, you as the subscriber get all kinds of stuff in that membership. And for us, we get 70% of your donation paid out to us. And that is how we keep internet on and stuff going so we can put this stuff out. So I can look here and see my top videos. I've got these TV art ones are always in my top. Over the past 48 hours, they've been viewed 319 and 121 times. I really need to make more of those. All of my stuff shows me that. I need to do that. And then the next one that's been watched the most is the update on my husband's health with his upcoming surgery. That's been seen 229 times. So I can go here to analytics. And this is where I'm going to get all kinds of information. Like I can see here, right, exactly 19,993 times my stuff has been viewed in the past 28 days. And then I can even see here, right, this is 4.8 more than usual. You know, I've got all of these details again here. I can scroll down here on the graph and look at specific videos. How many times were they watched, right? What exactly was that? And then if I scroll down, I can see the specifics. See again, this TV art win every time. I've got to make more of these. But I can see the specifics down here of what was watched, how many times, and things like that. I even can see over here in how many views over the past 48 hours. That's another metric that I kind of used. I was always sitting just under 1,000 views in my, last 48 hours. We have been able to keep that at 1,000 or higher here lately. Like the other day we were even at here's yesterday, but the couple days ago or whatever, we were sitting around like 1,400 and 1,500. So that was super exciting. And then here you see my revenue stays about the same, 310 to 390. Sometimes I get a little over 400, but that's pretty normal. But then here, what's cool is I can switch my view. So I can see, the last 365 days, how many views we've gotten. You see here in December, my background music with the Hanukkah footage went wild for a little bit. So I've got, 2,000 views in a day that day. But my stuff pretty much sits down here. What's really cool though is I can go back to lifetime. So since we started YouTube, and you can see here that I started my channel and did nothing for the longest time. And then come December, I actually started posting. But if you see that, I was getting like 29 views a day. So for my whole time, all of my views, I've gotten nearly 500,000 views so far, which is crazy exciting, crazy to even think about. People have watched my channel for over 100,000 hours, which is bananas. And it says here in total over the past 5 years that I've made estimated $9,971.05. So I don't know if over 5 years, if you want to only be making less than $10,000, but that's awesome, right? That's nearly $10,000 that's kept our internet on, power on, us able to, put this in here. That's been a huge blessing. And so I can see all of this stuff here. I can see all of my top videos, what people have watched the most. Again, these TV art ones, like nothing even comes close to those except for our Ravi Zacharias podcast we did a long time ago. So you can kind of see a lot of information in here. You also can, look at stuff specific. I'll go back to last 28 days. You can see stuff, specific to your different content. That's really awesome to pull up here, kind of see how long people are watching stuff. I can learn more about my audience and see kind of what channels they watch, other videos that my people are watching. I can see when they're on, so when the best times for me to post are. So I get a lot of details, in here of what people are doing. I know most people here are females that are 35 to 44 years old, right? This is where we're at, guys. This is most of us here. I can look at some trends of my revenue. again, I pretty much stay the same. So one day I made 25 bucks, made $14, $7. Friday, March 3rd, I only made $3.62, right? So none of these numbers are crazy, but this is exactly what we're making anyways. You can see here, so far I've made $214 this month. Last month I was at $366, $389, $391, $377, $398. That's how much, you know, we're making anyways with this. I would love to get to the point that one day we could actually pay our bills off of what we make on YouTube. That day hasn't come in 5 years, so maybe. Again, maybe if I make more of these art videos, because look at this one again, in the past 28 days has made me $30. So out of everything I've done so far, that's where most of my income has come. And from my collective, our membership group here, people donating $5, $10, $20 a month to get the studies and materials we put out, that's most of my money. That's $260 right there. My advertisers have only paid 10 bucks into that. So, you don't think once you turn on ads, you're just gonna start making a ton of money. That's not how it works. And then in research, it is really cool because I can go and see what people are researching. People who end up watching my stuff, what are the things that they're researching? We found it hilarious that dentist vlog is something people are researching, and there's a content gap. People don't vlog much about the dentist. Our household loves the dentist. So I'm like, maybe I need to connect with my dentist and we can do some more vlogs there because we do a lot of dentist stuff here. But it's cool that I can get in here and I can kind of get an idea again, over and over. Purim, homeschool, you know, all those are things that we're passionate about. And I'm seeing a lot with the art screensavers for TV. I love making those because I love using them. So maybe I should share more of the ones I'm making for myself with you guys because apparently people want that, right? But that could be a great way to maybe help get some viewership in so that I can make a little bit money, a little bit more money off of that stuff. So then I can be turning around and being able to do more of the content I really love, the homeschool stuff, homemaker stuff, the things I'm passionate about, kind of find a balance to let the art stuff come in, bring up the views, bring up the counts, and then open us up hopefully for more people to come and find us and want to subscribe and join in. So this is how much we make and what our numbers look like anyways. So do with that what you will. For us, again, success looks like, being able to keep doing what we're doing, but for it to really be impacting people. I feel successful when I see people being impacted. We're helping someone, we're encouraging someone, something has happened, and, us being able to share or be real about something or just transparent and open, like that was a blessing in their life and God used that. I pray every day that the Lord will put our videos in front of whoever He wants them to be in front of. Would I love to get to the point, like I said, that we could pay our bills and know our bills are paid because of the stuff we're doing? Yeah, that would be fantastic. But that's not what I measure success by for us anyways. So those would be my top tips. You saw exactly what it is that we make and how many views we're getting and stuff like that. We are small beans in the YouTube world. Absolutely. Our stuff is like nothing compared to most people. But we've been doing this for a hot minute, okay? 5 years putting into something, you've learned some things. And so I pray that us putting out these videos this week, it can be a blessing to someone else, that you don't have to be, millions of subscribers and all the other crazy stuff to be putting into the community, to be sharing with others, and to find some level of success in the ministry that the Lord has put in your life. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Might I recommend you check out this video right here? YouTube really thinks you would like it, so I think you should go watch it. If you want to subscribe before you head out, tap that little bell because tomorrow we have even more videos coming out about the topic. I'll see you all then. Bye, friends.